In this section, we're going to deploy a very simple application I have built that you can download from this lecture. So if you want to code along with me, download the zip file, extract the project, and just like always, run npm install, and then ng serve. So this is our application. We have a couple of pages. One is the home page, and the other is the list of my followers on GitHub. So this application includes routing and consuming HTTP services. So here we have only a front end. Our backend, in this case, GitHub API, is provided by a third party. In your applications, you may build the backend yourself. So later in this section, I will give you some directions about how to deploy both the front end and the backend. Now, in terms of the deployment, here we have a couple of options. The simplest option is to copy this entire folder with all its files into a non-development machine. So I can copy this folder into, let's say, a production machine, and there I can run ng serve. That's the simplest option, but there are a couple of problems with this approach. The first problem is that here we have quite a large number of files. So if you look at this node modules folder, here we have more than 23,000 files, and the total size of this folder is more than 230 megabytes. Sure, we can exclude this folder and do an npm install on the target machine, but there is still another problem with this approach. The problem is that here we have large bundles. So here in the terminal, look at the size of the vendor bundle. Our vendor bundle is 2.5 megabytes, and this is a very simple application. We're not using a lot of third-party libraries. In fact, we're only using Angular. Also, our main bundle is 20 kilobytes, and our styles bundle is 159 kilobytes. We can do much better. So let me show you a few optimization techniques we can apply here. These techniques have been around for more than a decade, and they're not specific to Angular. Chances are you're familiar with most of these techniques. The first technique is minification, and this involves removing all the comments and white spaces. So look at this piece of code here. We have 3 lines of comment, a class with 1 method. If we run this code through a minifier, we're going to get something like this. So our comment is gone and all the white spaces are removed. So this is minification. We have another technique called uglification, and this involves renaming long descriptive variable and function names into short cryptic names. So back to our example, we can rename our home component and the onClick method to something like this. So this is uglification. Now the good thing is we don't have to do this ourselves. There are lots of tools out there that do this for us. The third optimization technique is bundling, and you have already seen that throughout the course. So when we serve our application using Angular CLI, it automatically creates a few bundles for us. Each bundle is basically a combination of multiple JavaScript files. Without these bundles, if you want to serve our application exactly the way we have structured our code, the client has to send hundreds of requests to download the application. And this is very inefficient. By combining multiple files into a bundle, the client can get a large portion of the application's code using one HTTP request. And this means the application loads faster on the client, but it also allows the server to serve more clients. Because instead of serving, let's say, 500 requests from one client, it can serve 5 requests from that client, and at the same time, it can serve several other clients. So this is bundling. The fourth optimization technique is dead code elimination, and this involves removing any code that is not part of the application. For example, you might have created a few classes, but perhaps we haven't used them anywhere in the application. It doesn't make sense to include these classes in our final bundle, so we want to exclude these. Or similarly, if we have referenced a few third-party libraries in our package.json, but we're not using them, we don't want to bring all these third-party libraries in our bundles. So this is dead code elimination. And the last optimization technique is ahead of time compilation. And this involves pre-compiling Angular components and their templates And this will have a significant improvement in the performance of our application. I'm going to talk about this in the next lecture. Now here's the good news. We can apply all these optimization techniques using a single command with Angular CLI. So when we build our application using Angular CLI with the prod flag, Angular CLI will produce highly optimized bundles. And then we can simply deploy these files to a non-development machine. You're going to see this later in this section. So first, let's take a look at ahead of time compilation.